I never actually thought that I was going to be making, oh I don't know, I've just got a bit into history, but I'm no historian. I cannot send it back or say it back the way I'd want to, because I'm still learning and I just keep finding things that I've never seen before. Like these people. These are the Pictland people that used to live in Scotland, and they look quite like them tribally, you know, with the tattoos. These people were either painted or had tattoos on them. But I mean, they were so decorated. They almost, to me, in the pictures, although that one's got blonde hair, you know, and their faces aren't painted in any of the pictures, whereas these people, their faces are painted. But Maoris, there you go, some Maoris, but so similar. The Pictland people are so similar tribally, their bodies. But in a sense, the Pictland people, I mean, when you look at them, they're so highly decorated. You know, things on their knees, things on their stomach. There you go, look. They almost look like the Atlantis people. You know, they've got like socks on. But the socks, those things, they made those things as well. There, look. The socks. Are they socks or are they like fish people? Don't know. And blue, rather lot sticks out. Remember Nigel telling us about the blue people? But look at them. They're so decorated. Well, I mean, look, he's got faces on his knees. He's got the socks, patterns, the sun. I mean, are these real? Look how patterned she is. She's got a big arm, I have to say. But anyway, let's move on. If there's any snoring, it's my dog who's asleep under the table and won't be quiet. Yeah, they've still got, you know, I mean, that doesn't look very, that looks more sort of European, doesn't it? I mean, Middle Eastern. And what it was is that the Romans couldn't beat them. That's what they're renowned for, not being able to be beaten by the Romans. Romans wouldn't go near them, but then they were supposed to have cut heads off. But do you see, like, there's a couple of pictures here, just go back to this one. Like this one, so decorated. And then, sorry, I just snapshot them. And this one, blue. Tattoos, all painted, so they said. You know, you think you take enough pictures when you're trying to do this, but sometimes you wish that you had 100 more. But I think you get the idea, and maybe you could look it up yourself. I just found it very interesting. I mean, they're more decorated than the Maoris. She's got strong hands, I have to say. Anyway, more pictures of them. Just so decorated in the pictures. When you see that picture at the top, the guy on the left, you can almost see where armour came from, can't you? With their bodies, if they're painted like that. That's obviously how armour came. And their socks, they're like scales. These remind me of fish people. It's like they've got pictures painted on them. And supposedly they didn't, I mean, like, it's freezing up there. They wore no clothes. They just went out like that. It must have been so cold. I can't imagine that. Anyway, I don't think they had a language. I think they did the pictures, which is why also they're called picture people, the Picts. But that's one of the Hillforts that's theirs. And basically, we're going to get there in a moment, but all these different names come up like that. I didn't know it was all called that, although I realise now that everything was different. See, the Scots were in Ireland, and the Welsh had most of England at one point, and then they're saying something else, so it's very hard to put all the history together, because you can't, because there's so many different things going on. It's like, it must have just been like a game of chess the whole time. you've got it, I've got it, no, I've got it now, no, they've got it, you know, with the lands and how all the names changed. But then, like I said, they probably changed it all on purpose so that we weren't supposed to really realise a lot of this stuff. But Pictland. Pictland, England, Angel Land, Doggerland. Anyway, like I said, I'm just going to stop this for a moment. Right, this guy's basically saying that there was enough room for thousands. Oh, my little things have come up. But you see that car there? Well, they wouldn't be in this bit here, would they? That must have been looking after something else, or animals, or they must have been living right on the top of the hill, which, well, they couldn't have been living in there. There's a car. Yeah, you're not going to get thousands of houses and things in there, are you? But, yeah. Does anybody know? But anyway, everybody's just repeating the bit of history that they know. But anyway, that's the Hillfort that they're associated with in Scotland. And again, it's linked back to Tintagel and the other castle I showed yesterday. And, it's all bizarre. Like, they're more ritual looking than the Maoris. Don't mean that rudely, I just mean look at the paintings on them or the tattoos. And always thousands and thousands of people. But, you know, me and James, you know, before they wanted to do all this to us, we watched a film that was made in the sort of 80s, King Jutland. He basically was a king of about 25 people, not thousands. But this is a great empire. I suppose it would have been a bit more into Doggerland than it is now, you know, the Doggerland, the whole thing, as we were part of it. But I think we're talking here about maybe even, well, before the Romans. And then the Romans came in, but the Romans couldn't capture them. Then they thrived, and then, oh, they disappeared. Of course they would, wouldn't they? They would disappear. And yeah, you could find information, but it's not, I don't know, I don't think it's that easy. But amazing if it's real, because how do we know this is real? We've only got drawings. And in some ways they're so elaborate. And in another way, oh, look at that, they've got boats there, like proper boats in the picture. Couldn't have been that backward then, could they? I think they were living in more regal things, but would they be running around with no clothes on? It's freezing up there in Scotland. Anyway, I just thought about that. But, you know, they said we used to be more sort of Mediterranean weather, so I suppose if it was hotter here, they wouldn't have to worry about clothes then, would they? But it's a bit of a shock. Anyway, I'm not, like I said, sure whether these are supposed to be like armour socks or whether those are like those fish things. Those are, you know, the those are scales really on their legs. Supposed to have lived in these huts. It just doesn't all go together, does it? You see those people there and then you see those huts, and I don't know. I'm not sure whether I think they all go together now. Well, anyway, suddenly the people died off, and there's a little bit of information, but it's only what they're saying, isn't it? You know, like, I'm in the press, but you've got a bit of information there. Do your own research. I just thought they were interesting. Yes, what is the truth about the Picts? We just see these pictures. Do you really think that they were heathens, barbarians? They look quite civilised to me. I know they've got spears, but we're told things mean different things in those days. It's a bit hard to think they've got all that up there. Yeah. Anyway, there's a little bit of information on the pictures. I mean, it just looks like gravel to me. How do we know? But supposedly they didn't talk, they drew. They drew everything. Nice birdies going to sleep outside my house. But yeah, different pictures, different history, different stories, and these amazing sort of Atlanteus looking kind of people living like heathens up in Scotland where it's freezing and no clothes. It adds up. I can really see this adding up. It just adds up so well. Doesn't it? Not. They even made them. What's everybody's thoughts? I mean, we've only got pictures to go on. We haven't got real pictures, or the people aren't here anymore, and they lived in them, and they're out on the water, and you think, right, okay, I get this. It just makes so much sense. We're just always fighting, always fighting. Anyway, what's your thoughts to those socks on their legs and the faces on their knees?